I feel the spirit moving in me. I feel the spirit moving in me.
Good morning to you all. Happy Father's Day. It's so wonderful to see all of you sacred, beautiful beings here today. I'm so excited to be with you and to share this message today that is really, it has been 2 months in the making. And as I talk about it, you'll journey along with me in this sacred moment. Let's read our affirmation again. I am the embodied light of divine truth, rooted in safety. I remember who I am. I release what no longer serves my soul. I rise whole, radiant, and free. So today the topic is, and I will have my glasses and doing the rest of this, so you all be with me, a divine invitation. And so as I open, I want to talk about an experience. So, how many of you know that you, in this process of being this divine human being, right, there are invitations that you get from your soul. And when those invitations come, sometimes they come um, in many different forms. And so when our soul calls us, it's really good to listen, right? Because it's calling for a reason. Okay. And so Bob, can you play the DVD that's on there? Can you hit that link on there? Uh-huh. So, yeah, I think if you're able to. So, I want to tell you all about. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be, and then you can hit the play on it. Because I want to tell it, this is important to what I want to talk about. So I had the beautiful opportunity, and it's going to run when they get it going, of my organization, So Dope, holding a women's retreat in March. And yes, and so it was amazing. Now I want to play this video. It kind of goes along with what it is that I'm going to be sharing about. And there are beautiful women in the room who were there with me. Woo-hoo! Yes, so anyway, it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life, where I knew without a doubt that all of the 60 some odd years that I had been doing this journey and all of the things that I had accumulated and the women who joined with me to create this sacred space, it was so life changing that women still are now contacting me, that there was a pivotal moment in their life, a shift. And so, when it ended, I was on this high. You know how it is when you're high. I was high. And so I was ready to go to work with the next retreat, the next thing, the next on, because I wanted it continuing. And so it happened to culminate in on my 67th birthday. Woohoo! So it was just amazing. And so I came, there was something going on here at Unity, and I came, and many of you know who I call my oracle in the room. And my oracle, Patricia, said to me, "You need to rest." And that was an invitation to me. And when she said it, immediately what came up to me was, you're going to get sick if you don't listen. Something's going to happen if you don't listen. And so I had to go home and sit with it for a minute. And when I went home and I sat with it, I said, wow, this is an invitation. Now, most of you know that I'm spinning 10 plates at one time in my life, right? I'm in the midst of my doctoral program. I'm in the midst of doing all of these amazing, good, passionate things. But I had to stop and go, wait a minute, what is this about? And so I knew something was calling me deeper. And sometimes we think, oh, I've got this. I've got this life. I know all of the things that I need to be doing, all of the principles, the truths. I'm doing it. Look at what just happened. We got this. Now, why I got to go into the room? It's like I'm being called into a room. So it took me a minute after I got called into the room to see it was an invitation. Go to the next one. Right. So the topic of becoming embodied light is important for us to remember. That word becoming means what? Is there a destination? It means we're always evolving in something. So I'm saying this because a lot of us here in the room are seasoned. You know what it means when you're seasoned? We don't say we're old. We're seasoned, right? We've been through some things. We understand some lived experiences. We understand some truth. We've done some healing. We've done some transforming. But guess what? That becoming is important. And Rumi says, don't you know yet? When? Yet. It is your light that lights the world. And in Matthew 5:14, it says, you are the light of the world. Ooh, wait a minute. Okay, I've been shining. How many of you saying that song, This Little Light of Mine, I'm going to let it shine? I know Mama Ariel does. She sings it really good. And you've been shining. How many of you have been shining? In 67 years, I've been shining. How many of you have been shining? Yeah. But we can't forget what it means. What does that light mean? Becoming, embodying. What does that mean? The light is the divinity of God, the source, the divine that we are. And it's always shining, whether we see it or not. Okay? And then let's go to the next one. Now, we're going to talk about today 4 truths about being embodied light. Number 1, you are the infinite, momentarily tasting time. How many of you know that? Number 2, your light was never lost, only veiled. Number 3, your light grows stronger in stillness. And number 4, your light is not just for you. It's a blessing to the world. Okay, we go to the next one. So number 1, you are the infinite, momentarily tasting time. You're not merely a human being. You are the divine having a human experience. And we forget that sometimes because the human experience, how many of you know, can overshadow us. So sometimes we think we are just having this human experience, but that's not always the case. Okay, number 2. Now, before I knew, I remembered. And what I want to talk about with this is it's important. I want all of us to spend a moment just to tap into our youth before we were 10. So anytime back from 10. For me, I was a very quiet, solitary child. They used to call me an old soul. I loved being outside in nature, not playing with dolls, not playing with kids, but having conversations with the divine. Those deep pondering questions where you understand that there's something more to you, that you're here for a reason. You may not understand it all, but you know who you are. You know you're divine. You know your divinity. I was connected to that in nature. I would do silly things like my parents didn't ever know about. I would climb out of my back bedroom window, and I would go sit at the canal that was behind our house. I never felt any danger. It probably was dangerous. And I would sit there and ponder up, and it would be raining. And I did it on several occasions. Just climbed out, well, I was probably about 7, climbed out the bedroom and sat there and just looked up to the sky and knew. Do you know what I mean? Did any of you have experiences like that when you were young? Just tapped in and you knew that there was more than just this to you, right? And I loved being in that place, that space. I would have something, and I don't know if this has ever happened to anybody. It happened younger, and I can manipulate it now to happen. But there were times that I felt like within my body there was nuclear fission going on. My body, my energy source was so powerful, it felt like it couldn't be contained in this flesh. Has anybody ever experienced that? Or am I the only eyeball that's ever done it? But it's one of the most empowering experiences you can ever have, because it makes you conscious that this is not all there is. That there is something in you that is powerful, creative, that is the source, that everything God is, you are. And it's so powerful when you tap into it, when you know it, when you experience it. And I can experience it now at will. I'm grateful for that. But let's go on. So that is the question to you. Can you recall the sacred knowing that lived within you before language, before roles, before the world named you, when your being still whispered its own truth? That's a powerful remembrance. Because there came a time when all of the things around you began to tell you who you were. Yeah. And that knowing is many times what we're returning to. We think when a baby is born, it says, oh, this little cute thing that came here is so helpless. That being came with the fullness of its package, of its potential, of its divinity. So it's not a little thing, and then we begin to swaddle it and cover it. How many of you had parents or caregivers or siblings that began to cover you with the swaddling of the world? Oh, you're dumb. You're the middle child. Oh, you're the oldest child. You think you're smart. You're not smart. Oh, you were born in this kind of house. And they begin to tell us our roles and where we fit in the world, and we lose that understanding of our own light, our own power. We begin to, yep. Yes. The second one, your light was never lost, it was only veiled. Life's pains, roles, and expectations may dim our awareness, but the radiant essence within us remains untouched and eternal. So we can go through a whole bunch of different things in life. You can take to the next one. We can go through a whole bunch of things in life, right? And this says, what the world taught you to forget, the light remembers. Your lived experiences. How many of you have experienced trauma or lived experiences that, may have made you feel a certain way about who you were and your opportunities in life and all of those different things? But what the world taught you about you was only one truth, one reality, one story. But the light of you has always known your magnificence, your potential, your power, your way of going, your way of doing, your way of being. And so sometimes I don't care if you are, I know women that I have coached and counseled that are in their 80s that had lived experiences of trauma that they never moved past. And they've never got to really embrace and fully see who they are as divine beings. So it's not based on age. It's not based on anything other than your awareness and recognizing and coming to the point where you can begin to embrace the embodied beingness of you. So whatever the world taught you about you, some of us are still stuck in those things. I'm going to raise my hand and say I was stuck. In some of the things that life had taught me, I still had to move myself through. I would say that I've gotten through about 85, 90% of it, where I'm healed from that, but touch that 10 or 15%. And you're going to see a me you thought was never healed, never aware, never, yeah. So we all had that work. We can begin to work through and remember, because that light doesn't forget. So what truth about your divine nature have you hidden? And what might happen if you let it rise again? Wow. Okay, let's go to the next one. So I want to say on this part, number 3, your light grows stronger in stillness. It is in sacred pause, deep rest, and spiritual presence that our inner light is kindled and remembered. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Now I'm going to stop there for a minute. So I told you I just come off of this amazing experience. I'm ready to roll. It's on. Let's go. I'm on fire. The women are ready. And I get an invitation to pause, to rest. And how many of you know rest is not sleep? Because that's the first one I said, okay, I'm going to just take a good week and I'm going to sleep. How many of you have ever done that? I just need some sleep. Guess what? Rest and sleep are two different things. So I was in the invitation door. I'd opened the door. I'm like, okay, I'm going to just get some rest because I know this has been 8 months of putting out this energy. I just need to get some rest, some sleep. So I slept for about a week. Now, during this time, my cousin who had come to visit me and speak at the retreat, she cleaned my house from top to bottom. She knows at 67 I can't get on the floor. She was everywhere. So we cleaned stuff out of my house. So imagine this. Those of you who have been to my house, you know my front yard area. I had boxes and boxes or bins and bins from the retreat still out there that I hadn't put up. And then the stuff inside my house came out. So you know that's a mess. And the first thing I said is, on this invitation to rest, I can't rest. I got to put all this stuff up. I said, I got to get this organized. So as I began to do things and move around, and the universe, God divine inside of me said, let's put things away and rest at the same time. Let's talk. Let's communicate. And so as I started putting the stuff away and doing all of that, I'm having this experience. And as I'm doing that, I had this call in me to garden. I don't garden. I don't fool with my house. The weeds had grown up because they had been neglected, and the weeds were this high. And the divine is talking about, let's go pull some weeds. I'm like, wait a minute. That doesn't sound like rest. That sounds like work. As my hands got in the weeds and the dirt, spiritual revelation came. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where you have those deep, and guess what I'm returning to? Back to who I was as a little girl. I'm out there in nature and the questions and the answers and the unfolding and the deepening and expansion. Now, I think when I start this that I'm already, oh, girl, you arrived. And I'm going deeper in silence with weeds, with the sky, with communion. And I am expanding in ways that I have never expanded before. So when we talk about stillness, being present, if you can get those moments of stillness and rest, what would be revealed to you? Next one. So I want to talk for 1 second about the gift of PEP, what I call psychological, emotional, and physical safety. This is a very important time, and I don't have a lot to go into it, but I just want to say what it means. It is as a result of being in stillness. Many times we've learned and we understand that they say psychological flight, fight, now freeze. But the most important of all of those is safety. How many of you know it's not just physical safety we need? We need psychological. We need emotional safety. That's what the women experience. You were able to say whatever you had done in your life that you would not have said in front of a group of people, and knew that they were going to hold whatever you shared so that you could get it out and work through it. Psychological, emotional, I'm okay with me, safety. That is a outpouring of being the embodied self. Your safety is not, and your physical being is not wrapped in people, places, and things. It's a knowing that if you transition from this life today, guess what? You're okay. It's a deeper thing. So that happens when you get in stillness. Okay, go to the next one. Number 4, your light is not just for you. It's a blessing to the world. You are a vessel of divine energy. When you live from your truth, your light becomes healing for others, awakening collective transformation. Now, many of you know that my last talk that I did was about the beloved community. And how I want to wrap that into today is this. I want to say to you that we can look out into the world and know, what's going on, right? But that needs not to be the narrative by which we live. We can see it, we can understand realities, but who am I as this becoming embodied light? Meaning that I am the divine, meaning that I am temporarily tasting time, meaning that there are things that are going on in this reality that my presence can add light, love, understanding, empathy, compassion to, even the things I don't agree with. Even the things that I would go, this is some ridiculousness. Y'all know I like to cuss every once in a while, but I won't. There is some ridiculousness going on. But guess what? We are here to have an impact as divine beings. How many of you believe that about yourself? That you are a divine being that can have an impact? Crazy Horse, I love that name. Crazy Horse. That might have been my name back in the day. Crazy Horse. Crazy Horse says, I salute the light within your eyes, where the whole universe dwells. Where the what? A little bit of it. Yeah. We forget that about ourselves. We forget that we are God walking. He says, for when you are at that center within you. Now, what it sounds like he's saying is, when you are at that center in you, then I can see in your eyes the whole universe. Well, what happens if we're not at that center? Right? This is what he's saying. For when you are at that center within you, And guess what? I am at that place within me. We shall be one. So maybe what we got going on and need to replace what we see before us is to remember that the whole universe I embody. I embody the solutions. I embody the love. I embody the practices. I embody it all. So the reflection, what would shift in the world around you if you fully trusted that your light was never just for you, but a sacred offering meant to uplift and awaken others? What would happen? What would happen? Thank you. Thank you. And what would happen to all of this that we see? We would see empathy come. We would see answers come. We would see equity come. We would see love come. We would see joy come. We would see, even if I disagree with you, I still honor your sacred right to be you. And I wouldn't have to fight you or kick you out the country. I just threw that one in for free. Let's go to the next one. Yes. See, I think I'm at the end. Am I at the end? That's it? Oh, yay! There she is. So I want to say to all of you amazing beings that the invitation, I'm finally out of my rest season. It was 2 months long. I'm out of it now and beginning to work again. But all of the things that I learned within it just did so much for what I will continue to do. And so I just want to share that with you, that that invitation comes to you at different points in your life. When you hear, please listen. It blesses everything in your life. If you come see my house now, all the weeds are gone. I planted some new stuff. I even laid some pavers. So that's what I'm saying. You are amazing. You're brilliant. When I look at you, I see the whole universe. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being in this world. Thank you for being with me. And now let's do a meditation. Thank you. If you're so inclined, you can close your eyes. Put your hands over your heart if you'd like to. And let's just sink into this moment. Let's take a breath in through our nose and hold it gently and release slowly. Let yourself arrive. Let your body soften. Let your mind settle. Let your spirit open. Be still and know. Know that you are not broken. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are light, still becoming, always becoming. Be still and know. Know that your light has never left you, only waited patiently behind the noise. It was never gone, only veiled. Be still and know. Know that every sacred breath is an invitation home to your truth, to your wholeness, to your divine connection with all that is. Be still and know that you and God are one, that you are divine essence in form, that we are never separate, only awakening. Take one more deep breath. Let gratitude rise within you, just for being here, just for showing up. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes and remember, you are light, you are the blessing, you are becoming. Thank you.
And together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us.
And the presence of God watches over us.
Wherever we are, God is.
Where I live, there are rain.